I think we all have games that we want to finish, but for one reason or another we stop playing. Project Backlogged is my attempt at fixing this. The premise is, for a year, I'm not going to buy any video games, instead just play the games that I have bought and try to finish them by reviewing the game. In case that isn't enough motivation, I'm also putting this on Blip in hopes that I can make a bit of pocket change. I don't exactly expect to make enough to quit my job and become self-employed by working on this, but if I could, that would be super. First I'm gonna do Sin and Punishment. Originally I was gonna do Metroid Other M, but after playing through the game again and getting all the footage, I really don't want to see anything related to the game for another few months. Sin and Punishment was a game originally released for the Nintendo 64 on November 21st of 2000. Despite being made with the Western market in mind, to the point of even having English voices and Japanese subtitles, it was released towards the end of the Nintendo 64's life, and was never released in North America until October 1st, 2007 on the Virtual Console. However, it costs 1200 Wii points, 200 extra points from a normal Nintendo 64 game since it's an import title. Since then, Saki has had a cameo as an assist trophy in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and has been mentioned in the sequel Sin and Punishment Star Successor, which, according to Wikipedia, was actually made because of the success of the original on the Virtual Console. And yes, I will admit to buying the game because Saki is in Smash Bros. Although it's such a shame he was only an assist trophy, he could have made a rather unique character. Let's talk about the game. The graphics? Just look! The humans have tons of jagged points, the textures aren't good, also the first time I saw this I really couldn't tell if Issa was wearing a dress. Nowadays this might not look that good, but from what I can remember these are some of the best graphics on the Nintendo 64. The voice acting is, well, take a listen for yourselves.
So you're the leader of these killers.
Thinking of revenge?
Shut up! When I was little, I always wanted to be a cop. Do you think they'd hire me now?
I'm sorry. Issa Amamaya. I can even write it in kanji.
Is it a warning to me?
Hachu is gone. Think of the living, like me.
What are we gonna do? This is Hokkaido, Ruffian Central.
At least we won't go hungry.
Long ago. Soon I'll end it with them. But I can't win with your current powers. This has all been mere training, simulation of a global war.
It's cheesy and it's awesome and somehow it actually works. And to be honest, it could have been a lot worse.
The god of demise and destruction, the cursed power of Malpertio.
It's unthinkable to act against the Empire?
I wondered if Anthony was conscious as he hit bottom.
The Fell Dragon has returned to the Earth.
You saved me, didn't you? Well, thanks. That was close.
The game starts in the far-off year of 2007. Earth is being attacked by mutants called Ruffians, and a volunteer army is formed. However, someone named Achi forms another group that our protagonists are in, because the armed volunteer group is sort of evil. All but 3 of the members are killed, so Saki, Iron, and Achi go on an all-out assault. Saki has inherited Achi's blood and transforms into a ruffian. It eventually turns out that it's actually a training exercise set up by Achi so that Saki could fight those who call themselves gods. Saki and Iron, however, decide to rebel against Achi, and I really have to give credit to Saki. At one point, he realizes that he has a gun in his hands and shoots Achi at point blank. Of course, it doesn't work, so he has to throw the gun away and has to Falcon punch her. But it's the thought that counts, and it's nice seeing people not being completely incompetent during cutscenes. And then there's the best thing about the cutscenes! Unlike some other game, you can skip them! There is a tutorial. Obviously it explains the controls, however, with this being a straight port, it keeps the pictures of the Nintendo 64 controller. I played this game with the GameCube controller. It can also be played with the classic controller. Also, something I found amusing was that the tutorial was run by a creature that looked like Melon Bread from Gunstar Heroes. The gameplay is probably best described as a rail shooter. You control either Saki or Iron, and they switch at set parts in the story. Saki or Iron immediately walk forwards, and your input allows them to aim, fire, or slash with their cannon swords. To dodge either enemy attacks or obstacles, you can either move away, jump, or roll. There's also a side-scrolling level. Unfortunately, the controls don't really work that well here. It's weird using the R button to move forwards. I also found that jumping in this stage was a pain. Aiming your cannon sword uses the control stick, and there are 2 methods of attack. The first one is a manual style. Obviously, you have to move the control stick to hit targets. The second method is the lock-on style. You still have to move the control stick, but when you're over an opponent, it locks on and you don't have to follow the enemies around, making several sections much easier. However, by using the locked-on style, you deal less damage. Also, by hitting the B button when you are close to something, you get to slash with the cannon sword. The sword can reflect missiles and they fly to where your cursor is. The cannon sword also has a flamethrower. Unfortunately, you don't get to use it and it's only seen in one cutscene. To be completely honest, I suck at this game. All of the review footage is from the easy difficulty, and I died a lot. Thankfully for my sake, the game is rather generous with giving out extra continues. With every 100 hits you do, you gain an extra continue. When I died, I never felt like it was the game's fault. I knew it was my fault for not paying attention and screwing up. It was also my fault for staying one spot and not moving. The game can be completed in an hour and a half, and less than an hour if you don't die and skip all of the cutscenes. During my first playthrough, I didn't know what to expect next. From fighting on top of an elevator to transforming into a giant monster, it was one surprise after another until the final boss. With the short length, multiple difficulty modes, and the desire to go back and beat your best score or understand what the hell just happened, there is a lot of replayability. For $12, those Wii points are well spent. Well, that's it for this episode. Next episode... well, let me give you a small hint for what's coming up next. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Volume 1 manga.
Is this what works on you?